So how is everybody out there doing? Man, what a fight. What a fight. I don't think we could have asked for anything more exciting than that, right? Uh, that was something special. I think everybody, as soon as they saw it, as they started to as it started to unfold, the fight started to develop. I don't think it took very long for people to realize that this was going to be something special. You know, so congratulations to Tyson Fury. What a performance! What a performance! Went out there, did exactly what he said he was going to do, and got the knockout. Didn't do it in round two. I never thought that was legitimate anyways. I thought he was going to do exactly what he said. I wasn't 100% sure he was going to get the knockout. I said that in a previous video. But I did believe that he was going to fight the way that he said he was going to fight coming into it, which is exactly what he did. I did believe that a knockout was possible. But I didn't necessarily think that he was going to get it. It was a really I don't want to make it seem like I'm writing revisionist history here. It was going to be, I could have saw it going anyway. The only thing that I didn't see for sure was Wilder. The only thing that I didn't think was probable was Wilder on points. But yeah, good for him. And a big shout out to Deontay Wilder. Hope he recovers fine. That was a pretty significant beating that he took. Wasn't definitely seen way worse. Man, Mark Breland, he should feel great for throwing in that towel. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Sometimes a corner has to protect a fighter from himself. Deontay Wilder is as tough as they come. He was going in there getting banged on by a 270-pound man. I listened to a post-fight interview from his trainer, Jay Diaz. I think it's Diaz, not Diaz. Diaz. He said that Deontay had a small cut in his ear, which is where the blood was coming from. So I don't know if it's exactly that or if it turned out to actually be a busted eardrum. Either way, once he got caught with that shot in the third, man, his equilibrium was gone. So the odds of him being able to land that big right hand that he's known for dramatically went down. Messes up your equilibrium, messes up your balance. It's going to completely throw off your power. We could even see Fury got caught with a couple shots. Didn't even look like it hurt him in the least. True, he was rolling away from him, you know, so he was taking a lot of the steam off in the way that the punch was coming in and the way that he was leaning back, which is where his technique comes into it. But I also believe that Wilder was absolutely compromised. And for his team to sit down and just think, hey, we can just let this guy keep going. It's not a big deal. He's got that great equalizer, and letting him get beat on in the meantime, I think that would have been a bad decision. And that's unfortunately actually what JD's said. He said, you know, I told Mark not to throw in the towel. I didn't think it was a good idea. Wilder wanted to go out on his shield. After the fight, Wilder said the same thing. Hey, I'm a warrior. I want to go out on my shield. And it's great for Wilder to say that. To get in there and do what he does for a living, you have to have that mentality. If you come in and you just say, hey, I'm gonna give 100% when I'm winning. Hey, I'm gonna give 100% when it looks like I'm gonna pull this out. That's called a front runner. You're never gonna make it to be a world champion. You're never gonna be great. You're never gonna be legendary. That's just not the way that it works in a business like boxing. But you have to have that mentality, and that's why you need a good trainer on the other end to potentially protect you from yourself, right? They have to be the ones that say, man, this is too much. We're going to live to fight another day, because at the end of the day, this isn't war. It's a sport, right? Boxing is a sport. MMA is a sport. These are sports. So you can't sacrifice your today for all your tomorrows. And that's what it comes down to. If you go in there and just take a ferocious beating, you're sacrificing tomorrows. You know, you're not going to have as long as a fight career. And unfortunately, you know, the second half of your life is probably going to suffer. We've seen guys that, man, they're not doing good, right? I mean, we can kind of relate that to all the, you know, back in the day, everyone called it being punch drunk. But you can see it a lot now coming out with studies in the NFL with from the concussions and brain injuries, TBI, things like that. You even hear about it with guys in the military being around too many blasts, you know, blowing doors open and things like that. Like that, it's legit. It's legit, man. That stuff is no joke, and it will affect you potentially for the rest of your life. So congratulations to his corner for having the you know, Mark Breland in particular, for having the courage to go and throw that towel in, because he absolutely felt like it was the right decision. I felt like it was the right decision. And I'm not alone in that. It seems like with a lot of the post-fight stuff that I've been watching, they felt the same way. But enough of that. Tyson Fury, man, phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. I love the way he fought that fight. He came in there and did exactly what he said he was going to do. He was like, I'm going to go right to him. I'm going to back him up. I'm going to take him out of his element. And that's what he did. It was exactly, I mean, look back at one of the previous videos that I made, okay? He did exactly that. He said, you're going to take away the power by coming to the man. You smother the power. I'm going to throw him out of his element by coming to the man. Deontay Wilder likes to have some space. He likes to be able to set up and get that big right hand off. He likes to be able to use his jab at distance, at length, so that he can gauge things and then come in and drop that bomb. Fury took that all away, man. He took it all the way, and it looked beautiful. That's what boxing's about, right? The sweet science, the skills. Man, he came in and did it all, and it couldn't have been a more marquee performance. No, it was great, and he still came in and threw the feints. He still got under a couple shots here and there, but ultimately it was a much different game plan. Just backed him up, stayed right in front of him, beat him to the punch with the jab, which was something that I really liked. Actually beating the guy to the punch, versus something that like Teddy Atlas said, which is where, hey, I'm going to try to break up the right hand, which is like as soon as I see Wilder start to throw the right, I'm going to immediately try to beat him with the right hand to break up that rhythm. I thought that would have been a bad game plan because, you know, the problem with that is it's great when it works, but when it doesn't, you're going to get caught with that right, and it's letting the guy throw the right the way that he wants to throw it. And with a guy that's got as much power as Wilder, you can't really do that. And Fury didn't. Right? He actually beat him to the punch. He initiated the action, kept dude on the back foot with both the pressure, kept him on the back foot in the sense of making Wilder react instead of being able to act, because Wilder was always taking the initiative. It was just a masterful performance all the way around. Landed the right hands when he needed to, faked in and out, you know, and then, man, the way he was throwing that 1-2, he closed the distance so quickly. So quickly he was coming in there. Bang, bang, landed them both so fast. Wilder, he looked like he was just, I mean, I hate to say it this way. At times he had the man looking like an amateur, right? I mean, I'm just going to call it like it is. I don't mean to say, when I say that, I don't mean to detract from Wilder's skills because, you know, I mean, he's a skilled guy. He's not quite as skilled. He's not as skilled as Fury, and he's not quite as skilled as some other top heavyweights. And the reason he's been able to get away with that is because of the way he's that just mind-numbing power that he has, and that's the great eraser, right? It's able to erase any kind of mistake that you make. But he still does have some skills, for sure. You don't make it to that level without it, 100%, you know. And his skills, but they all complemented his power. It was all about setting, you know, using distance, using the jab, using his little half step back to all to set up that power and land the right hand. So as soon as Fury was able to defuse that bomb, as soon as he was able to get inside of that and figure out how to get, Wilder never had a game in the plan B. Never had a backup. It's because he never needed one any other time. And then Fury just tore him apart. Man, he just went in there, did exactly what he was supposed to do. Thought he was going to get him after that knockdown in the third round. I thought he would have got him out of there a little bit earlier. But, you know, Fury's not a puncher, which is fine. He certainly punches hard enough. 270-pound man can take out anybody. A trained 270-pound man can take out anybody, even if he doesn't have, you know, Wilder's type power or Klitschko type power or anything like that. You don't need it. He proved that. But he stuck to his game plan. He also probably was like, hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not have an adrenaline dump here where I'm going to go in and blast all my energy out there thinking I'm going to get him out, and I don't. Because that's also the time when guys get caught, right? The fight game is littered, historically speaking. It's littered with guys who thought they had their man out of there, only to find out later they wake up looking at the lights. Okay? That's because a wounded guy is a dangerous guy. You see the same thing out in nature, right? A wounded animal is a dangerous animal. A cornered animal is a dangerous animal, right? You hurt a guy, but you don't quite get him out of there just yet. You go in there and throw the whole kitchen sink at him, forget your defense, forget your space, and you go in just thinking you're going to have this ESPN highlight reel knockout, and all of a sudden he gets one off on you. And it's a desperate shot, and it's everything that he's gotten to, and it bang, and you're done. And Wilder threw a few of them, and Fury was able to avoid him. right? Wilder threw a few of them, though. So congratulations to him for always being a soldier. Congratulations to Fury for defusing that bomb, getting in there, and figuring that out, man. Wonderful performance. Wonderful. So what's next? I was listening to the post-fight interview or some of the post-fight commentary. They said that the way the contract for this fight was written, that there's a 30-day, the loser, in this case Wilder, has 30 days on whether or not he wants to enact the rematch clause due to and then there was parameters that were already set. For example, the winner of this second fight would get the 60-40, the lion's share, the 60-40 split in the third fight if the rematch clause gets enacted. I don't know if the how that affects pay-per-view sales, or if that refers to pay-per-view sales, if it refers to a total purse. But you can tell that the contract is already written. Basically, it's just like, hey, you got 30 days, accept it or don't sign it. We don't really need to negotiate any further. There's nothing left to talk about. All that was done ahead of time. Fury would fight him 100 times in a row, I imagine. Now, in my opinion, he beat the guy twice. Got a points decision in the first one that he got robbed on, and knocked him out in the second one. And let me tell you this, if he fights him a third time, he's going to knock him out sooner. This time I think it was the 7th when he knocked him out. It won't take him 7 rounds next time. Once you knock a man out, you knock him out quicker in the rematch. Okay, typically that's the way it works. Doesn't apply 100% of the time, but it applies more often than not. You'd be surprised. Now Wilder, on the other hand, again, he's a warrior, man. Is he going to want to take that rematch? Absolutely. Absolutely he is. He's going to come out and he's going to talk about how that one punch in the third round landed a little bit, behind the ear, kind of behind the head, and threw him off. Technically, that's against the rules. My equilibrium was gone. I get it. Technically, it's an illegal punch, but Wilder moved his head into it. I don't think Fury, by any stretch of the imagination, was aiming at the back of his head to throw that punch. And if you throw a punch and then a fighter moves and it hits him in the back of the head, it's not an illegal shot anymore. Right? It's only illegal if you intentionally hit a man in the back of the head, which is why Kenny Bayless, who's a phenomenal referee, didn't say anything about it. Okay? So he's going to want to take that rematch. He's going to probably point to that punch and in his mind use it as reasoning on how he lost the fight. And he's like, I felt fine, but his legs were shot. He had chicken legs a lot of that fight after that shot. You know what I mean? He just wasn't stable. He just wasn't solid. Which I get. I totally understand. That being said, here's where your management's going to come into play. His management should not let him take that fight again. Should not take that rematch. At least not right away. He's going to need a couple more training camps. He's going to need a couple more opponents. I think he needs to add some wrinkles to his game before he were to take on Fury again. A man who's at that, not only a man who's that skilled and at that level, but a man who's already figured you out. A man who already fought you at this point for 19 rounds. And like I said again, in my opinion, he beat him the first time, should have got the decision, thought it was a robbery, and he knocked him out the second time. You do not jump right in there with that, man. If Wilder would have lost a points decision, different story. Then he could jump right back in, right? That'd be fine. But getting that beating that he got and getting knocked out, I don't know, man. I would definitely advise against it. I would say do not take that immediate rematch. Take some other stuff. Unfortunately, the business of boxing, because that's by far going to be the biggest money fight for Wilder, between the business of boxing and his pride, it's going to be a tough one to turn down. It really is. It's going to be tough to turn down. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. If that doesn't happen, I say Fury goes after AJ. I say Fury goes after AJ. And that's gonna be. I think Fury by far will be the prohibitive favorite. I think he earned it. I think he deserves to be there. I absolutely think he wins that fight. But that'll be a good one. That'll be a good one. I'm looking forward to what comes next. Again, congratulations to both men on a great performance. Should be. I'm interested to see what with both of them. I'm interested to see what happens with both of them going forward.